This is me now.
Hey, welcome to Popcast, a crowd-sponsored yo-yo show. My name is Dr. Popular. Huge shout-out to John Anderson, Taka from Spin Gear, and Dr. Lucky Meisenhower for sponsoring the show, as well as the rest of my sponsors over on patreon.com/DocPop. That's a place where you can go and be part of the early discussions, see versions of these videos without ads, and also join us for our virtual yo-yo club and get special discounts and things like that. Today, I'm going to show you something special. Now, on Popcast, I like to talk about trick concepts as much as possible rather than, teaching you a trick. I like to talk about like, hey, here's an idea that I want you to play with. I want you to take this ball and run with it. And today is a perfect example of that because I have a move that I have found recently. It's called a scrunchie, and I have been doing it all the time. It has become super obsessive. My hand keeps doing the scrunchie thing, and I'm going to show you a bunch of scrunchie tricks in a little clip video, and I'll see if you can figure out what scrunchie is, and then I'm going to teach you how to do it.
Scrunchie, 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 scrunchie. Let it go. Scrunchie, 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 scrunchie. Watch it flow. Make it come with your hand and begin to fold. Scrunchie, 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 scrunchie. Let it go. Scrunchie, 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 scrunchie. Let it go. Scrunchie, 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 scrunchie. Watch it flow. Make it come with your hand and begin to fold. Scrunchie, 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 scrunchie. Let it go. A string ballet. Unique display. Keeps hair out of the way, so it's easy to play.
Okay, did you catch it? All of those tricks that you just saw had an element in it that's, I like to call scrunchie. It's a folding motion, and it kind of looks like this in its simplest form, but there's a lot of potential for other things you can do with the scrunchie, as you just saw. So let's talk about scrunchies. Now, mostly, I like to do scrunchies from within a mount. For instance, I really like doing scrunchie from like a wrist mount, but the basic motion is going to be the same for any trick that you do, including wrist mounts, anything like that. And I'm super excited about it. Ever since I've started messing around with scrunchies, I do them all the time. This has become kind of my new, we all have these moves that we do when we're not thinking. This has been my new kind of brainless improvising move, the thing that I just find myself doing all the time, even in weird spots, like even when I'm doing Mobius or freehand tricks. So we're going to talk about scrunchies today. The starting point of a scrunchie is just kind of learning the basic folding motion. And so to do that, we're going to do that just from a trapeze. And this isn't the most exciting scrunchie move, although I think there is a lot of potential for it. But this is just a way to get used to this idea of folding and mounting the string. So the first thing we're going to do is do a trapeze, and right above the yo-yo, just like an inch above the yo-yo, we are going to use our pinky to pinch that string, both strings. So we're taking this hand and we're kind of closing on both strings. I'm going to get it a little closer to the yo-yo though. Getting the right distance from the yo-yo is going to be very important, and you'll get used to that and you'll kind of learn why. But for the most part, too close is going to be really like you're going to be bumping the yo-yo with the wrist, and too far and you're going to have a hard time doing the mount. So kind of finding that right length is important. But yeah, right about 1 inch above the yo-yo, I'm just pinching with my pinky finger. And I still have my pointer finger in here because I am in a trapeze. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my thumb and open that pointer finger and thumb, so we have a mount now. And the next thing we're going to do is go behind the string. I'm going to take that string that's between these two fingers, the thumb and the pointer finger. We're going to mount that onto the yo-yo, going behind and catch. And you're going to end up with these bunny ears. Now, again, this isn't the most exciting of all the scrunchie moves, but this is a really good way to get used to just the basic idea and just practicing that motion, practicing pinch, open, mount. That's going to be a thing that you're going to be able to apply in all sorts of other stuff. So let's do that again. We're going to go trapeze, close to the yo-yo, pinching with my pointer finger, and thumb goes in. This string, we want to go behind the yo-yo and on the back. And if you do this right, you should be able to just kind of throw the string to get out if you want. Okay, so trapeze scrunchie is not the most exciting thing yet. However, there is potential for doing stuff from there. I think you can kind of play around and find something to do. But the main thing we're doing with that trapeze scrunchie is just practicing that mount and just getting in it real quick. Just the idea of just fold and catch. You can kind of see how smooth that is. And once you kind of get used to that motion here, then you can apply it to just about anything once you've done a mount. For instance, we'll do an overhand, or what they call a kamikaze whip. Now I'm going to pinch, open, and mount. And if you notice, all of that was the exact same as the trapeze mount that I did earlier. So nothing weird happened. It's the exact same pinch. It's the same direction. I'm going clockwise in mounting. And so if I'm doing it with a mount, it's still going to be the exact same moves. Boop, boop. And once I'm in this double or nothing mount, a thing I like to do is, just dismount the string from behind and get into this double trapeze or double triangle. And then to get out, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to hop the yo-yo towards your stomach and then hop the yo-yo forward. So we're going to do like a little hop just to the back, and now another hop to the front, and now we're out. Just going mounts, triangles, hop, hop. So remember that first hop goes towards your tummy and the second hop goes forward, and that gets you out of that complicated triangle. And just to give you more ideas, because mainly this is what I want to do today. I don't want to talk about like teaching tricks. I want to get you thinking about this motion, practicing the scrunchie, and then thinking about what you can do once you've learned the scrunchie, right? So we've talked about this to here, to a double triangle. But let's explore even just that same mount more. I think you can really take other mounts and kind of play around with them. But with that mount, with that kamikaze overhand whip, and doing this, what you could do is go up, down. You see this string right here? I'm going to pull that with my middle finger and kind of have this motion here. Drop that. I'm still on my middle finger. So let's keep exploring this mount, the scrunchie mount, from other mounts, right? So that's what I'm talking about, is combining that element with other things. We just did it with the overhand kamikaze whip. Let's do it with that same whip, but underhand. Now this is that whip that when you go under, if you drop it with your pointer finger, it just drops. So it's, all right. And if we're thinking about it there, we could do that same mount. And this time we end up, if we drop our pointer finger and I believe our pointer finger on both fingers, we end up in this triangle here. Again, I'm not trying to teach you, you can look up how to do that whip. I'm not trying to teach you how to do these tricks. I'm trying to get your brain thinking, I know I'm saying it, about this as a concept for you to explore. Maybe even try doing it front style or doing it from different elements. Let's get on to my favorite element though. This is the wrist mount element. And I always like to do my wrist mount with a friction mount, where you take your thumb, you do a wrap, and you're gonna let the yo-yo roll over this area. And with this particular trick with the scrunchie, I like this even more because I feel like these two motions kind of have something in common, right? Like you're kind of doing the area here between your pointer and your thumb, and then you're going to do this. And I'm going to mount both strings. And again, it's important to remember these two strings would have been the trapeze. So you're grabbing both the strings and you're mounting. And then from here, you can hop the yo-yo slightly forward and drop. And you get that little Eiffel Tower. And then drop your thumb, and you're just completely out. Now again, just to kind of go over what I was just saying, when you're doing this from wrist mounts, remember to grab both strings with your pointer finger and go behind. Just like all the others, you're always going to go behind. At least that's what I'm doing. And because we're talking about exploring this as concepts instead of taking this as a trick I'm teaching you, then hey, think about if you want to do something different other than the behind. Maybe there is something that you can do from here going forward. Oh, I never tried that. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. But maybe you'll find something there. Oh, that's weird. What is that? Okay, back to the wrist mount, because I am going to try to teach you this. Again, I'm doing any wrist mount. You can just go into a wrist mount. If you do that, you're just going to be like this. I'm going to put my pointer finger in. I'm going to use my pinky finger, open that string. So you see how I'm kind of pulling the yo-yo. Actually, it makes it really easy for me to just get that last bit in. I'm going to go on, and then what I like to do is I like to hop the yo-yo forward in front of this string, drop my pointer, drop everything, and then from here as a follow-up, what I like to do is grab these two strings with my pointer fingers. I'm going to hop the yo-yo up, and I'm going to do kind of a Ouija bow. And after I do that Ouija bow, I'm going to let the string fall off my wrist and end up in a Eiffel Tower. And once I'm in this tower, you can just drop the string if you want from your pointer finger. You can go on and take that twist out while you're doing it with the other hand, because you're going to have a little twist. But what I like to do from here is a Tanaka twist, where you're like crossing your arms and uncrossing your arms. And if you do it right, you don't get a knot. I got a knot. One other note from here, you can, when you do that hop up, you can go the other way, a little bit more like a traditional Ouija bow, and it's going to be, so my arms are crossed and this hand's on top, but it's going to be the same thing. You can let that string fall off your wrist and you still have that cool Eiffel Tower. And again, you can just drop. That looks a little more stylish with my throw hand on top of my free hand. You probably think all of the scrunchy tricks are just basically a trapeze and kind of doing that mount and then trying to figure something out. And if you want to explore some fun new territory, this is a really good place to be, just kind of playing around with stuff. But there's more you can do with this. For instance, you can actually do this and create a little slip knot on your left hand. So if you do this, then the string is kind of stuck here and you can give yourself like this really cool slack that you could do. And you can kind of play around with concepts from there. Again, like just thinking about it as new territory to play around with. And when you're done, you just pull this string off by just... all those hawks, I love it. By pulling and just let it come off your pointer finger. So when I'm doing this move, I'm doing that same thing as if I'm going to mount the yo-yo, but instead I'm going to just pinch the string. I'm going to use these pointer fingers and pinch the string above the yo-yo. And now I have this slip knot here that looks like that. And what I can do is I can let it tighten onto my pointer finger. And when I'm done, I can just pull it off with my other hand. But you don't have to pull that slip knot off of your pointer finger. Instead of actually even letting it mount on the pointer finger, you can create that slip knot and then you can play with it as if you're doing kind of Mobius tricks, right? You can put both fingers in and now you've got a sliding slip knot that you can explore with, see if you can find stuff from it. In, you know, maybe some like really weird picture trick or something, right? But like you've got this slip knot. At some point you can, if you want, let it tighten onto your pointer finger and then play around with the basically the reverse slip knot, right? Like a slip knot on the other hand. So you just have this like extra string kind of hanging out here. You can do whatever you want. And when you're done, just slide it off. So scrunchie is flexible, right? You could do scrunchies as mounts. You could do scrunchies as ways of getting into that extra slip knot. That's not all. I mean, just once you start playing around with this concept, you might even find that you can kind of do scrunchie as a way, as a sort of a chopstick move, right? Where you intentionally kind of open up that front, and instead of like trying to mount it, maybe you try to catch the yo-yo on it. And to do that, I like to go over my other hand, or you can do like a 1.5. You do this pinch, and this time you just put your fingers forward, right? I'm just kind of like, instead of going backwards, I'm just putting my fingers forward, and you can do a catch on there. Or you can do this, And what's keeping the yo-yo from just falling is that pinky. I'm still using that pinky to hold that friction on the back of the string. So right here is what's keeping that on. And then once I catch the yo-yo on the mount, right, I still have that pinky taut, and that's important for this. And from here, you can like try swinging the string or do all sorts of stuff. Again, I want to see what you come up with these tricks, with these scrunchy mounts, right? And I guess there's one other kind of point to bring up about scrunchy is it actually started off as an attempt at doing a friction mount, which I talked about friction mounts earlier, where you take the spinning of the yo-yo and you like try to let it kick the string under on into a different mount, right? Like that. Well, I actually tried doing basically a one-handed, and it's just not working. Like, it's not great. So, oh, look, one-handed got me into that. That's kind of cool. But anyway, like, that's a place for you to explore as well, because scrunchies are infinite, right? You can explore the idea of like trying to let the yo-yo spin and feed. Catch onto your pinky finger for some reason. Yeah, you can play around with that. There's a lot of room for exploration with scrunchies. So if you end up using this trick, please like show it to me, post it on Instagram or YouTube, and you can tag @DocPop and show me what you're doing with it. I'm going to keep playing around with it. I'm not even thinking about it these days. I'm just kind of throwing scrunchies into different areas of tricks, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. So please do tag me. That's it for this episode of Popcast. I hope you enjoyed these scrunchy concepts. I want to see your scrunchy tricks, scrunchy tricks. Please remember to tag me on Instagram, and you can follow DocPop. Again, huge shout out to all my sponsors on patreon.com. Patreon.com/DocPop is where I've been posting a lot of these early previews and the concepts for the scrunchies. We even did a Yo-Yo over Internet protocol, or virtual yo-yo club, where we kind of talked about these, and the members in that group have helped me flesh out these ideas more. So shout out to everyone in that group. And I do want to say I have some yo-yos coming out soon. In December, I should have
Platypus
yo-yos. This is the responsive counterweight yo-yo. This is like one of the very first, one of my favorite responsive counterweight yo-yo designs so far. So the
Platypus
is coming out soon. The Stupid is coming out really soon as well. This is a yo-yo collab I did with Toybania, and my DocPop colorway of the Stupid, and again, this is a metal responsive yo-yo, my DocPop colorway, which comes with this brain art that comes out really soon, probably in December. And finally,
DIY.
This is coming out in December as well. This is going to be an all-purpose, carry around everywhere beater yo-yo. Like, this is a Schmoove Groove finger spin monster. This is a killer yo-yo. So be sure to check those. Be sure to check those out. And thanks so much for watching. I will see you later. Oh, cool. Check out these little pods.
Let it go. Watch it flow. Make a gun with your hand and begin to fold. Let it go. Let it go. Watch it flow. Make a gun with your hand and begin to fold. Let it go. A string ballet. Unique display. Keeps hair out of the way, so it's easy to play.
Platypus 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 Platypus